Hello, loyal viewers. Today, I'm gonna answer a question that has stumped philosophers since the beginning of time. Truly the greatest debate of our generation. Is the Shrek 2 DVD extra Far Far Away Idol actually canon to the Shrek universe? Like, really think about it. We all love this short. It's the most iconic non-movie content to come out of the Shrek universe, inarguably. Like, nothing else even comes close. But is it just a funny, haha, one-off what-if scenario? Or did they actually put on an American Idol parody within the canon on that same night the rest of Shrek 2's ending took place? That's what we're here to figure out today. First, I want to have a little prelude by mentioning the Shrek 1 DVD short, Shrek in the Swamp Karaoke Dance Party. I think this one is pretty unambiguously non-canon for a couple reasons. Surprisingly, the use of amplifiers and microphones does not disqualify this from being canon, because Donkey uses a microphone in the movie when he sings I'm a Believer. So that's all fair game for Shrek. But I think the fact that he's addressing the camera is a little wonky. Like, Shrek doesn't really break the fourth wall like that in the movies. Who is this everybody he's saying hi to? Most importantly though, it's the timing of this short that simply does not add up. In the ending of Shrek, we see him and Fiona riding off into the sunset after getting married. So what, did they just come back to sing karaoke with the gang? I doubt it. But even if you want to say, maybe they just had their karaoke dance party before the actual wedding, which is stupid as shit, but I guess kinda possible, then how do you explain Robin Hood being there? I sincerely doubt he would be okay with dancing and singing with everyone else after Fiona murdered him. Also, realistically, Lord Farquaad would be dead and not staying alive in the dragon's stomach. I don't know, I just think the evidence is overwhelming in terms of this not being canon to Shrek. It just doesn't line up. But Far Far Away Idol just might. And I'll be back with more to say about that after these messages. Hey gang, before we continue on with the video, I went to this old abandoned train station because trains are kinda like rockets. You know, they go really fast, except horizontally instead of vertically, same thing. And riding the train costs money. So like, rocket money. This made a lot more sense in my head. I'm saving up for a vacation, though tragically not one I can go on by train, how sad. But anyway though, I need to make sure I'm on top of my expenses and not wasting any money on stuff I don't actually use. Like ongoing subscriptions. Well, today's sponsor Rocket Money is here to help. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. I'm using Rocket Money to cancel unwanted subscriptions, since it safely and securely identifies recurring charges and cancels subscriptions you don't need for you. You can even cancel from within the app with just a couple of taps. Customer service calls? Get out of town! You don't even need to make those. I'm also using Rocket Money to set budgets. It analyzes my spending habits to create a custom budget that works with my lifestyle. Automatically monitor your spending by category, and get notified when you've exceeded your limits. Rocket Money has helped save its customers up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features, with over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. Whoa, Schaff, you might be thinking, that sounds great. How can I save more and spend less by joining the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today? Well, I'm not gonna tell you. It's a secret. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. Go to rocketmoney.com/SchaffRellis or click the link in the description to get started for free. You can also unlock even more features with premium. That's rocketmoney.com/SchaffRellis to get started for free. Okay, I'm going home now. Bye. See, in terms of timing, there's nothing really stopping this from potentially taking place after the mid-credit scene of Shrek 2. You know, the party's over, everyone else went home, Donkey's all sad, and then Dragon shows up. This perfectly sets the stage for Donkey and Puss to start goofing around and singing together, leading to Far Far Away Idol. The fourth wall issue from SITS KDP doesn't really come up either because this is clearly a TV program where viewers are encouraged to vote at home. And those viewers could definitely just be people in the Shrek universe. We know that TV production is insanely quick in this world because earlier in Shrek 2, the gang watched an episode of Nights that seemed to be happening in real time. Or at the very least, it aired on the same day it was filmed. Therefore, there is a precedence for live TV in the Shrekverse. The last thing I want to mention is Prince Charming being here. I kinda jokingly said in a video from 5 years ago that Shrek the Third doesn't line up canonically with this short, because Prince Charming was happy to be here singing with everyone. And then in the next film, he suddenly becomes the main villain who venomously hates them all. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we can just grow up now and admit that Shrek the Third is indeed canon, even if it is indeed ass. That was always just a joke, and its place in the canon is unquestionable compared to Far Far Away Idol. With that said, I think the two can coexist because Charming showing up for this is like his last chance at redemption. He had the princess that he was trying to steal stolen away from him, as well as the kingdom that came with her. He has no other choice but to compete in this singing competition in order to gain fame and glory. But when he is saddled with the most humiliating rejection of all the contestants, falling through the old trap door, this perfectly sets him up to become a washed up loser dinner theater actor in the opening of The Third. I'd argue that this is an integral part of his arc, showing that he just can't make it on as large of a stage as nationally syndicated television, which is why he has to put up with children's birthday parties interrupting his performance. So yeah, that's the reason why the secondary villain makes sense to be here, but Robin Hood doesn't for the original. I think we've officially sidestepped every pitfall SITS KDP has, and definitively proven once and for all that there is nothing holding Far Far Away Idol back from being canon.
Objection! I have some evidence that contradicts this theory.
Athena P? Man, I should have known you would have some obscure knowledge about the Shrek lore that I didn't think of.
You better believe I do. First of all, you seem to have forgotten a crucial detail from the mid-credit scene of Shrek 2. When Puss walks up to Donkey, he says he and the girls he's with are off to the Kit Kat Club. I don't know about you, but it sure doesn't look like he went to the Kit Kat Club at the beginning of Far Far Away Idol like he said he would. What do you have to say about that?
Objection!
Oh, that's an easy one. Yes, Puss fully intended to go out clubbing, but then something occurred that distracted him. You know, nothing major, just a gigantic dragon who happens to be Donkey's wife, who arrived with little mutant donkey dragon babies. Be honest, if you were about to go to the club, but then a dragon showed up, and it turned out your friend had sex with that dragon, and now they have little hybrid babies, would you still go to the club, or would you be more curious about this? Curious enough to stick around?
You know what? That's actually a really good point. Oh, but speaking of the donkey dragon hybrid babies, where did they go during Far Far Away Idol, huh?
Oh, that's an easier one. They went to bed. It was past their bedtime.
Damn, another solid argument. But I've got some more contradictions up my sleeve. Like, why did Shrek say, the competition hasn't even started yet? That's my Scottish accent. Anyway, why did he say that if they were all planning to do a singing contest, but then he follows that up with, who's up for a little contest? Implying that it's completely impromptu. And how does everyone suddenly show up in the next frame? Where did they all come from?
Okay, so maybe Shrek was just gonna do this little contest with Donkey and Puss, but then he figured he would open it up to everybody, who all happened to be vibing right off screen in the opening shot, and then they all just walked towards Shrek as he started talking about the competition. Hell, it's not the first time characters in the Shrek 2-niverse randomly teleport. I mean, how did Gingy and Pinocchio and them get all the way to Far Far Away so quickly to save Shrek? Sometimes characters just end up places in this world because the plot demands it.
Unfortunately, that very well could be true. But have you considered my smoking gun of evidence? The one question that I doubt even you could accurately answer. Who is Simon Cowell?
Hold on. Simon Philip Cowell, born 7 October 1959, is an English...
Yeah, I know that, but in the Shrek universe, who is Simon to these people? How do they know him? They're surprised he showed up, but they also seem to be on a first-name basis with him. At what point in the timeline would they have had the chance to form a relationship with Simon Cowell? And what even is Far Far Away Idol anyway? Is it a show that Simon Cowell is the judge of in this universe? Because in our world, there are other judges besides Simon. There's a set where they hold auditions. Why is there an impromptu televised production of Far Far Away Idol on this random stage in the castle courtyard at presumably 3 a.m. in the morning with only one of the usual judges? It just doesn't make sense.
Objection! Far Far Away Idol doesn't necessarily need to line up with our reality's American Idol, does it? Maybe it's a traveling show where Simon recruits different judges every week to accompany him. Maybe they're on a first-name basis with Simon, not because they know him personally, but because that's his only name in this universe. He's never called Simon Cowell in this. He's always just Simon. Like, Shrek doesn't have a last name. You don't see anyone getting on his case for it. And as for the fact that they're probably filming this and going live really early in the morning, maybe they're not. Let's break down the day of the Shrek 2 finale. I believe it's entirely plausible that this big reception for Shrek and Fiona started around 8 p.m. I looked up when the Met Gala red carpet officially starts, and it's 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, with it generally wrapping up around 8. Then the whole I Need a Hero sequence happens, which leads into Livin' La Vida Loca. And that's all like, what, 10 to 15 minutes from the moment Fiona and Charming step out and the ball officially begins? So what if we assume Simon was a guest at the party who came up to Shrek and Fiona at some point and asked them if they wanted to do a Far Far Away Idol event later that evening? Perhaps at a reasonable time, like 11 p.m.? I don't consider that to be in the middle of the night. That seems like a decent enough time for a TV special to take place. Therefore, I see nothing standing in the way of Far Far Away Idol being official Shrek canon. What do you say, Judge?
I don't know how I got here, but sure. In the case of whether or not Far Far Away Idol is canon, I hereby decree that...
Objection! That's a nice argument, but unfortunately you seem to be forgetting one of the most crucial details of the plot of Shrek 2.
Oh? And what might that be?
Midnight.
Midnight? Why is it always midnight? Oh no!
That's right! We know for a fact that midnight happens in the Shrek 2 timeline when Shrek and Fiona changed back into being ogres. Then the party, which just started mind you, goes on well into the night. There's no way it didn't happen at least until 2 a.m. So tell me, Chef, how is there a Far Far Away broadcast at 3 a.m. at the earliest? Who was watching and voting on it?
Yeah! My perfect timeline completely foiled!
Well, maybe next time you'll think before making outlandish claims about the canonicity of a DVD extra from a kid's film released in 2004.
Is this it? Is there really nothing I can do to prove Far Far Away Idol could have happened? It just doesn't make sense. There was no plausible time for it to take place on that night. And there's no way they could have been that familiar with Simon without knowing him previously. Unless... Wait a minute. Maybe I need to turn my thinking around. It's crazy, but what if... Aha!
Well, if there's no further testimony, I'll have to side with the prosecution on this one.
Objection! Wait one moment, Your Honor. I don't have definitive proof of Far Far Away Idol being canon, but that wasn't the goal here. The goal is to present a scenario where it could plausibly be canon. And I think I have that at long last.
You just don't know when to quit, do you? It's over. Far Far Away Idol isn't canon. It couldn't have happened on the same night as the rest of Shrek 2.
I agree.
What?
I don't think Far Far Away Idol happened immediately after the events of Shrek 2. But... who's to say it didn't happen the very next night?
No!
Yes. Far Far Away Idol took place the night after the ending of Shrek 2. It's the only thing that makes sense. Shrek and Fiona met Simon Cowell at the party. He then offered them the chance to be judges in Far Far Away Idol, a traveling TV show he puts on with rotating judges. Therefore, everyone working at the castle left the stage and decorations up for Far Far Away Idol to take place the very next day. It could have happened at any time that evening, any prime time slot where the show usually airs. And there you have it. Absolutely nothing is standing in the way of Far Far Away Idol snugly fitting into the Shrek canon.
I guess you're right about that. Wait, why am I upset about this? I don't want it to be non-canon. I love that shit.
I guess you just really got into the prosecutor role. Man, if only Athena Sykes had a 2D sprite, that would have made way more sense for you.
Well, I think I can finally deliver a verdict after this long and arduous trial. I hereby declare Far Far Away Idol canon.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for watching, and go check out Athena P's channel.
Thank you so much for having me on. I love screaming about cartoons. You can actually see more of that on my channel, Athena P. From Wonder Pets to Sophia the First, we have a lot of fun.
See you next time. Good night, Far Far Away.
I hereby decree Far Far Away... what's it called? Far Far Away? I hereby declare Far Far Away Land Idol. There's no land. I'm a fucking idiot. Far Far Away Idol. I hereby declare... okay. Chipwich, for God's sake. We're trying to make YouTube history here, Chipwich. Safeties are so... oh, fuck. My Twitch overlay's on. Oh, fuck. That's funny. I hereby declare Far Far Away Land... I did it again, son of a bitch. Far Far Away Idol. I hereby declare Far Far Away Idol Canon. Okay. Wee, I did it. First try. Alrighty.